You are now listening to the Hunter's Advantage podcast. We preserve the history and sport of hunting through curious conversation and action-packed hunts, as well as offering you tips and strategy for more successful hunts. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hunter's Advantage podcast, episode number 164. Today we're joined by Corre Smith.
Howdy.
Corre, for folks that have never seen you go on maybe a TikTok rant or anything, give a little background into where you're from and how you're kind of a little bit of a do-it-all outdoorsman.
Yeah, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a young kid, 21, straight out the womb, something like that. Well, I don't know how to describe myself other than like a nicotine and caffeine fueled like destruction machine of hunting. Like, dude, if it lives and breathes east of the Pacific Ocean, I'm gonna lay it down. That's birds, bucks, bears, women. Doesn't matter.
Dude, we just wrapped up turkey season. What have you been, since you do it all, what have you been up to in the woods lately?
Absolutely nothing. This is the most boring time of my life. I'll go walk through the woods and try and find a deer. Like, it's whatever. Like, I'll go spook every deer out of the county and stuff like that. I mean,
you not do any fishing?
I've been musky fishing a lot lately. Haven't caught one, but I mean, I'm trying.
All we can do is try.
Where'd all those pictures from your Facebook and Instagram come from then? You didn't catch none. Thought you were good at catching fish.
Well, like, not muskies. Them things are like 1 in a billion, bro. Fish at 10,000 casts, bro. I've only got like 100 casts per day before I get tired and take a nap.
I respect that. What else do you fish for? Do you guys have trout up there?
Yeah, we got a lot of trout up here. During the winter, like, we have a big steelhead run coming out of Lake Erie and stuff. And if I'm not hunting, I'm on a treb fishing with a fly rod for a big old trout.
Dude, I feel like that fly rod's a little intimidating. I get behind some of those guys. So we got a place close to here. It's called Roaring River. It's in Cassville, Missouri. And it's like one of those places you kind of take your kids. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have kids, but kids are able to catch fish. So I would probably be able to catch one too, I would hope. Yeah, it's stocked. And you get those guys that there's kids walking around and everything with the big old fly rods just doing that. And you got to walk like a big 30-yard loop around them just so you won't get hooked. It feels like, at least. And I don't know about fly fishing. It seems dangerous.
Dude, I am that D-bag. Like,
Are you?
Yeah. Like, Sims waders. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to dress up. Like, I go out there. I've got like $2,000 worth of shit on me, just flinging feathers at these fish. Oh, well, like, try me, bro. Like, what are you going to do? I got 30 yards of advantage on you. I'll whip you. Like, what? Come on. Stay out of my
hog
spot.
tied by the time they get over to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, That's what I'm talking about. So, Corre, we got to ask, is Pennsylvania as hard to kill a big buck in as people say it is?
It's good.
Well, yeah. Honestly, if you have the time and the resources and the money to put into it, as a lot of other places do, a lot of other people do, big buck killers. Every person, every state has the chance to kill big deer. Pennsylvania, there are big deer. They're just fewer and far between, and there's a lot more topography that's keeping you from them. It's not. So when I lived in Nebraska, I could just look at a spot and be like, oh, there's going to be a deer there. There's deer there. If here, it's just totally that, and there's not a lot of agriculture in the state, so like deer aren't just going to get as big. There's less ag, there's less nutrients in the soil, there's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. But yeah, it's pretty hard to kill a big deer in Pennsylvania. My biggest deer in PA is 143, and I've shot 9 deer over 143 inches in other states.
Dang, what other states?
Nebraska and Kentucky.
Kentucky has that early season. Was it pretty early in the season when you shot those, or no?
No. So I would go with my family and we'd hunt we'd hunt the last 2 weeks of the bow season and then the first 2 days of the rifle season when it opened every year.
Okay. So how's Pennsylvania on the seasons? Like when does it start and when does it end? And then is it kind of weird on the the muzzleloader seasons and shotgun, or I don't know if y'all have a shotgun season.
We don't have shotgun season. We've got a rifle season, but archery season starts the first Saturday of October, I believe.
First October of the year it starts.
Yeah, first October of the year. Yeah, and it runs, I believe, 6 weeks, and then there's a little break where after archery season ends, it's bear season for a week, bear rifle season, and then it goes straight into deer rifle season. And then once that ends, there's like a little break, and then there's late archery season / flintlock mumbo jumbo, because like people go out wearing buckskin clothing and flintlocks and stuff. And,
sounds like a good time though.
Dude, it's not.
No, not in the mountains at least.
Dude, it's not. There's like 3 feet of snow on the ground. It's like -20. People are out there wearing nothing but buckskin clothing. Like,
bunch of savages.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hunted flintlock one year, and don't get me wrong, I was not wearing buckskin clothing. I was out there looking like a marshmallow at 14 years old.
Michelin man.
Straight up, dude. And I mean, you'd cock the hammer back on the flintlock, and it'd be so cold and wet. It just never went off. So, like, screw that flintlock stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
So you can't hunt archery the whole like deer season? Like there's specific seasons where like archery cuts off and you have to wait again?
Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of wild, especially with
you can hunt with a bow during rifle season, but like, why would you want to do that? Kind of thing, like, especially if you're like hunting public land. If you hunt with a bow on public land during rifle season, you have the biggest set of cojones I've ever seen. Like, because like there's 825,000 licensed deer hunters in Pennsylvania alone.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
What's the craziest thing with that many deer hunters that you've ever seen on Pennsylvania public land, specifically with like a rifle?
Oh yeah, it's pretty easy. There's like this. It's not public, but like it's owned by a guy that he just lets people hunt. It's called Carlson's. He owns like a little country store and whatnot. It's this big cornfield and swamp bottom area. And if you pass by on the first day of rifle season and like every day after that, people do deer drives here, right? And there will be 50 people getting ready to do a deer drive out of like a 40-acre piece.
No.
Yes. I've got pictures of it. Like, I've got pictures of us driving by, and there's 50. Some people are Amish. Like, there's dudes with buggies and stuff, and then you got lifted trucks. It's like a whole little community of insane deer hunters trying to shoot the same 3 deer out of a cornfield.
Dude, that is nuts.
That just deer drives in general don't really like. It's not like, oh, cool, a deer drive. I don't know why. Like, I know that's like a tradition type ordeal with some people, but we went as kids, like on the same deer drive sometimes, and I'm just not a fan of it because people get shooting stuff on the run. And don't get me wrong, I did it before too. Trust me. I've made the most unethical shots on deer than any other person. But me knowing what I know now, I'm just not a fan of it.
Yeah, neither am I. I mean, I'll still do it if like my grandpa's there or something.
Right.
Or like as a family, we just go do it.
Tradition.
It's not 50 people. It's like 8 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to take running shots on deer.
Have you ever heard of anybody shooting like a mega on a deer drive? That has to happen every once in a
while,
right?
Milo Hansen's buck was on a deer drive. Did you know that?
That's nuts.
Yeah, his Saskatchewan buck too. Yeah, Milo Hansen's buck was on a deer drive. That's pretty sick. But they also said Milo Hansen's buck was like 3.5 years old, which is bewildering.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that, but then again,
I don't believe it either.
I've never seen Canada, which I know everything gets. I don't know the wording for it, but things get bigger the more north you go of the hemisphere. Is that the right wording?
I think so.
Y'all are both wildlife biologists. Tell me.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk to you about. What's your degree in?
Wildlife biology and minor in entomology.
entomology. So that's bugs, isn't it?
Yeah, water bugs.
Water bugs.
Respect.
Okay. See, I got my bachelor's in wildlife ecology too, but I haven't did a dang thing with it. So
Neither have I. I'm gonna be honest. I hope that my professors aren't hearing this. I cheated the entire 4 years.
Dude, yeah, field botany. I don't know what are they going to do. Take away my piece of paper? Go for it. I'm not using it now. But field botany, there's an app. It's called Picture This.
Oh yeah.
That's how I did all my homework. That's how I did some of my exams because the professor left the room. The TAs didn't give a damn, and they were just like, "I don't care. Just hand me your paper at the end." And
I
that's how I
still have
passed.
the app on my phone.
Picture This, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a good one. It's Christian was telling me it's AI, and I was like, Psh, I was ahead of the game. I used AI before everybody else.
Back in school.
Yeah, but yeah, back to the killing big deer on deer drives. Like, it happens every once in a while, but you got to think that you get all these people into the woods. They don't live in the woods. The deer does. They know every escape route that they can possibly take to get away from things. They got they can cut back. So what I've noticed through the years is when I'm tracking a deer, it always tries to J hook above me. If I'm like in a place where it's hilly, it always J hooks above me, and it'll try and see what's chasing it, type thing. Like, it knows that something's on it, but it'll get out in front of you, and then it'll J hook and try and see you before it completely gets out of the woods. So if you set your drive up right, that eliminates the buck escaping thing, and that mega's probably going to get shot as long as the dude isn't horrible at shooting.
You ever think there's been a giant killed and like 6 people on a 50-person deer drive? Like, I killed it. I shot it. That was me.
I've experienced that, not with deer, but with bear.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. We drive bear.
A
My
bear
first
drive?
bear was shot 13 times before I killed it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 13 times. Its paw was like gone. Like,
by you or what?
Oh, I shot it. No, I shot it once, bro, with a freaking Marlin. I think it was a 444. I was like 12, dude. I had no business with a gun that big, but like, it was, all I heard was bear over the radio and just bang, 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 bang. And then I'm like, hell's going on? Like, my dad was out doing something. I think he's like taking a dump or something. Next thing you know, I see a black thing just running at me through the brush, and I went bang, crumpled up, and I was like, okay, well, I got a bear. And then, like, while we were taking care of it, just straight up hamburger already. It was the grossest thing ever.
Dang.
It was cool though. Never gonna do it again, but it was cool.
What's different from a bear drive to a deer drive? Is it the same thing essentially? How do you know where a bear's gonna be?
It's the same thing, but like deer, we don't really like push through the thickest, nastiest stuff. With bear drives, they'll straight throw you like in a swamp where it's like 4 feet deep, and they're like, there's probably a bear on that island in the middle of the swamp. Go push that island. Or, hey, it's just, it's so much worse if you're a driver, and I don't like it at all. Like, I've been a driver on the drives, like, just for fun. I don't bring a gun anymore because I just want to be a part of it. But like,
so to set it up for the people who, I guess, never been on a deer drive, don't really know the ins and outs. So can you talk a little bit about that, about like the driver, and then what are they called, the shooters at the other end? There's
watcher,
like
a setter, whatever you want to call
setter.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you just kind of, you pick a spot and you drop people off, and they're all like 15, 20 yards apart. They could be spaced out more, but you really don't want to do that. Because a deer will slip by and you'll never see it. And then they'll either drive around all the way around to the opposite side of the property, and then they'll just start pushing. And a lot of people like making noise and yelling at the deer, like, hey, and smacking like branches off of trees. And I just think that is the stupidest thing ever. One, because if you're just yelling in the woods, the deer's just going to start booking it. You don't want the deer to just be running for its life the whole time. You just kind of want to bump it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's bumping, it's just steadily going.
Do you guys ever like do that tactic of wind bumping instead of just like physically bumping it out of the bed?
Yeah. Me and my uncle do that a lot when we archery hunt together. Well, back in the day, like when I was like 16, 17, archery hunting a lot. We did that a lot, and it worked somewhat. I mean, it's really hard to figure it out, kind of, but it does work, and you do kill nice deer doing it. I mean, it's just a proven tactic. Driving will kill deer.
So, with you having this more of the mountainous area in Pennsylvania, and that's kind of, I know Oklahoma ain't known for it, but Oklahoma's a pretty diverse state. Like in the Panhandle, you have like the little, looks like a dang desert. All there's is yucca bushes and stuff, and then like the Northeast, it's like basically an extension of Arkansas, about the Ozarks. More, it's a little bit more rugged, but in different places, it's more rugged than flat. What do you do in Pennsylvania to try to find those bigger class bucks? Like, what do you look for? Because I would think sign would be a little less hard to come by, because like we hunted Kansas last year, and it was like you were farming them basically like cattle. Like there was big old trails going through, and it's just like, gee, I wonder if they use this trail. And here in some parts of Oklahoma, there's really not that defined trails. You can't really find footprints. You might find droppings every now and then, but what do you look for in Pennsylvania?
I really like swamps, a lot. Wet areas, the transition between that wet area and in between like the bottom where the swamp is to where the ridge is. That if it's close, if it's a tight holler, that's where I like to be. And I wouldn't want to say it's not hard to find a really big buck in PA, but it's definitely not easy. But luckily, like we have a lot of property around here. Like if I go out my door, we've got 1,300 acres that go straight to town. Like the next 7 miles is us. And what it is it's a river bottom, but it has hills all in it. All the hills just conjoin into this place, and it's called the Flats. The Eldred Flats is what everyone calls it. And if you look at it like on a big topograph map and you scroll out, it's just one big funnel. Every single ridge just comes into this big swamp. So during the rut, especially during the rut, everything's just running through there. But if I really wanted to find a big buck, I would just hop on top of a ridge, walk the ridge out, and I'd make zigzags. I'd get on the first bench below the ridge, usually they're bedded on that first bench off the ridge, and I would just try and find something that correlates to deer activity and what a buck needs in order to bed there, in order to live there successfully and grow old and big enough that he doesn't look bad on Instagram.
That's pretty good. Are you planning on going anywhere this year besides Pennsylvania?
I live like 100, not even 80 yards from New York, so I always hunt New York. But
oh, really?
Other than for deer hunting, that's all I'm going to plan on is just New York. And
so
PA.
Is Nebraska pretty good?
Nebraska, dude?
Yeah.
I heard it's decent.
I mean, there might be a big deer killed there every once in a while.
You guys know about the General?
Who?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know the Dukes of Hazzards drove that car for quite a while.
No, not the General Lee, like the General, like the
Oh.
biggest set of sheds ever found, right?
Would have been the biggest typical buck ever killed.
Yeah, the biggest typical buck ever known to exist was in Nebraska. I am a dude from Pennsylvania that honestly probably sucks at hunting. I just am really lucky. So I go to Nebraska, I hunt one day of archery season, and I shoot a 172-inch buck. It's pretty
How'd
good.
that go down?
Oh.
So, come on. Are you saying Nebraska's easy? Is that what you're saying?
For me, it was, yeah.
But just in general,
cop out.
For the average out-of-stater, would you recommend Nebraska over every other state?
Oh yeah, especially if you're like a majority hunters are rifle hunters, correct? If you're a rifle hunter and you want to go kill a big buck, I would highly recommend Nebraska.
Okay.
Like you can see forever, it's flat, there's big bucks everywhere, and it's one of those things where, oh hey, there's this patch of woods in between two cornfields. There's probably deer in there. There's deer in there. Like,
Well, Christian went to Nebraska and he didn't kill anything. So
Yeah, what the frick?
where'd you go?
Samuel McKelvey,
I have no idea where that is.
Northwest, and it is the most shot out place known to man, from what I've heard.
Excuses.
That's what I've heard.
Excuses.
If I was to go back there again, I'd probably hunt around North Platte. North of North Platte, there's whitetails. South of North Platte, there's mule deer. That's just one of
Basically,
the coolest.
what we're trying to get at is the exact
Pin.
GPS
Had
coordinates
to pick a
of
spot.
kind of where you know.
Oh, okay. Hastings, Nebraska is where I went
No,
to college.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, I'm gonna give it to you.
We'll edit it out. It's fine.
No, it's fine. Just, dude, Hastings, Nebraska is where I went to college. I went to college at Hastings College. There's a little community college. It was called CCC, if I remember correctly. There was a little piece of ground there, and I knew there was like a 130-inch buck. Well, there was 5 people there, and I hunted it, and I ended up shooting that 172-inch buck, and it died on the campus of CCC. Like, it died in the ditch right in front of the doors.
Was it like some Seek 1 type action where you're like urban hunting, or was it a legit like wooded area?
It was a legit wooded area, but like the school is like out of town. Like, I can't really, it was a technical school. That's what it was. And it was like just when you get out of town, like the last big building there. And then I shot it like 400 yards away from campus.
That's wild. You would think some sort of like college like that there would be more hunters there than, and like anywhere around there would just be taken up from either a permission standpoint, or even if there's like a public piece relatively close. From a college standpoint, I would think that anything close to the campus would be like just absolute crap.
Oh, it was. There was 5 people in the parking lot when I pulled up.
But yet you can go and kill a 172.
Dude, straight luck. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I might be the luckiest dude in the world. Like, my dad always told me I had a horseshoe stuck up my ass. Like, I just straight luck. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, straight luck.
How'd it go down though? You got to tell me now.
What, the deer?
Yeah, how did you you just get out of your car, or you walk from like your
I got
class, or what? How does it work?
I did get kicked out of biology class after I shot it, but so basically, I got out, had a little climber stand that I bought at a yard sale, and I just kind of like picked a little transition in between. It was like a little section of hardwoods, and then it was like CRP, and then cornfield. And I set up on one of the last trees before the CRP, and that went into the corn. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, sun comes up, and I'm just waiting to see something. I was like, I knew there's like 130-inch 8-point in here, and I will totally thwack his.
The Hunter's Advantage podcast is powered by Out on a Limb Manufacturing. Out on a Limb is a family-owned company based right here in Oklahoma that makes tree stands, saddle platforms, climbing sticks, and so much more.
Christian, I have a quick question.
What's that?
What bites down harder, a hippo or an alligator?
No idea.
It's a trick question. The Ridge Runner 2.0 bites harder than both of them. But all jokes aside, we use these products all across the land on public or private. These help us get into any tree we want and hunt where the deer actually are.
Most men go to the grocery store for their meat, but these products help you go to God's grocery store. I have used the Out on a Limb Ridge Runner 2.0 and the Shakar sticks for the last few years hunting public land bucks, and I've actually shot several bucks out of this setup. If you want to support the podcast and get some Out on a Limb equipment, make sure to go to outonalimbmfg.com and use code HNTA10 for 10% off at checkout. Once again, if you want to support the podcast, go to outonalimbmfg.com and use code HNTA10 at checkout for 10% off. Now let's get back to the podcast.
He comes by, and next thing you know, I see just rack stand up out of the CRP because there's like 5-foot tall grass. And I'm like, okay, well, that's got 2 more points than the buck I saw last night while spotlighting. Legally, didn't have a gun in the car. Just want to say that.
There you go.
And it just makes its way to me, and I drew back and I shot him. And shot him a little back. He took a step when I shot. And so I got a little bit of liver action. I picked up the arrow, went to class, had blood all over my hands, got kicked out of biology class. Fun stuff. And then we tracked the deer. Me and my buddies tracked the deer 400 yards, and we found it in the ditch in front of that community college. So
That's pretty good.
They
I don't
kicked
know
you out
why
because of the blood?
yeah,
I would say, listen, what I just did, biology, living, and non-living organisms, I just now did one and made it the other. That's what you should have
Circle of
said.
life.
I mean,
And then
me and my
degree
buddies ended up
immediately.
becoming friends with the professor. He kind of looked like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Real crazy dude. We ended up getting permission from him to like pheasant hunt his ranch because he had like a horse ranch and stuff. Really cool guy, just batshit crazy.
Well, most of the good professors kind of are, because they're like, I don't know, it's weird because like my field botany teacher, he looked like Albert Einstein in a way, but no, he looked like a Willie Nelson. That's what he looked like. That's a better like image of him.
Did he
He
smell
looked like Willie
Nelson?
Nelson. I don't know. I can't smell. I was born without a smeller, believe it or not. But yeah, it's true. I cannot smell. I can't
He's
smell my own
baffled.
ass, dude.
Dude, I didn't believe him. We ran over a skunk one day, and I was like, and Jake was just chilling. Good.
Hey, I'm over here having a good time. But
No, we gotta stop for a second. Corey's he's speechless.
Man, this dude's never smelled brownies.
Never smelled brownies, dude.
Ever.
I don't know whether to be like
If you were to lose a one of your senses, I think I'd rather lose my smell. So
100%.
yeah,
Wait, what are the senses?
you got your eyes, like your sight, your hearing, your touch, right? Touch,
Taste.
right, and then smell.
Touch. Yep.
But taste.
Tasting
Oh,
would
dude.
suck. I like
Tasting
food.
is beautiful.
I'd rather
You're
not
not
smell
wrong.
because I can't smell and it feels like I'm not missing out on anything in life. Oh, just the field botany teacher. He was like, he knew his stuff about field botany and all that stuff, but he was just so like all of his social media stuff was like the milkweed guy, just because like milkweed's a plant and stuff like that. And he was kind of, yeah, he's kind of loopy, but
Yeah. Professors are weird. Everything's weird.
he was nice though.
Everything's
Anyways,
it's such a change of pace to go like moving from PA to Nebraska was such a change. There's so many different things, so many different ways to hunt. Like everything was just different and I had to relearn it all. And I think it made me a lot better of a hunter than what I would be if I just lived here my entire life.
I don't know who's the other big woods hunter. He's Bo Martonic.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
he's a PA
Bo
guy.
lives 40 minutes away from me.
Really? So you're probably jacking all his spots. So you went to I think you said Hastings. You went there to shoot shotguns? Is that true? Is that really a sport?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't classify it as like a super strenuous sport. You just kind of
So
stand
you were a
there.
college athlete.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
like
I
golf.
was a collegiate athlete, man. I mean, I was pretty decent at it, like all-American team, junior Olympic team type thing. Went there to shoot because I decided to just pick a small college. Coach straight up lied to me and told me that there was other people as good as me on the team. There wasn't. No offense to my teammates and my boys, but you guys just weren't as good as me. So, but yeah, I don't recommend that college. I don't understand. It was a liberal arts college, Presbyterian liberal arts college, and we had a shotgun team.
Well, that makes sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense. There's a lot of blue-haired people walking around. I loved it.
In Hastings, Nebraska, there's a lot of blue-haired people.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't that weird?
It's very weird. I thought I was gonna run into like farmers' daughters, like type thing. Like I thought I was gonna live out that Rodney Atkins song. It didn't happen. Basically,
Did you-
it was Rainbow Warriors, blonde farmers' daughters, and Latinas. So 2 of those 3 are great, but
Your percentage is pretty good.
yeah, it's that 33% that's going to knock you out. It wasn't fun.
Did you get any permission on any good places when you were in Nebraska?
Oh yeah, dude, especially for waterfowl hunting. Like it's just that's what we mainly did out there. But I got a lot of permission in Nebraska for pretty much everything. Like they kind of respected the fact that. So me and my buddies we'd all go up. Like normally when you ask permission on a place, like only one guy goes up, so you don't want to like, yeah, kind of intimidate them.
Yeah,
it was me, my buddy that was 6'8" from New Mexico, a 6'3" Alaskan, and like a 5'4" New Mexican, and we'd all just walk up, and they just kind of respected the fact that we were college age kids that wanted to do something in the outdoors from different parts of the country, and we were here, and dude, we had like an 80% success rate. If we wanted to do something, they just let us do it.
What do you think that is?
Probably my good looks. I don't know.
I mean,
all right.
yeah.
No, why was it really?
I paid a couple of them.
Bringing some goose breast or something?
Listen, I promise I'll stay away from your daughter if you let me hunt.
Yeah, I mean, I also we helped them a lot during like harvest and stuff, and we gave them like bottles of whiskey and whatnot.
A little bribery. It's
a little bribery. Dude, bribery never hurts. I mean, if you want permission on a place to kill big deer, place to kill a lot of birds, you kind of gotta like do some things sometimes. You know what I mean?
Did you hunt fowl before? Did you hunt any waterfowl before you went to Nebraska?
Yeah, a little bit. I just choked on my screwdriver.
Pop, orange juice.
Yeah, a little bit. Basically, around here, I just grew up jump shooting them out of ditches and in like little puddles in the woods. It was a completely different thing to experience being able to decoy birds for the first time.
So are you an avid waterfowl hunter, you'd say?
9 times out of 10,
pastime?
I would rather waterfowl hunt than anything else.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, fire Jake up.
That's all. I mean, not fire up, but like that's all I've done is just kind of like pond jump or something like that. But okay, lanyard. I see.
Subtle flex.
It's weird. I didn't see any bands on there. What's up with that?
Iced out, like Rick Ross, homie.
I mean, those look like the ones you get on Amazon.
Oh yeah, $15 for 70 of them. Yeah.
No, but all I've done is just like pond jump and kill them that way. Like I've never really set up the blinds, throw out the decoys and all that good stuff and hunt. And I've heard the best part about duck hunting is just the social aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
But if just a purely hunting standpoint, I feel like every duck's the same. Besides, if you kill like a band or something, you know what I mean? Like if you limit out without a band, it's almost like cool. You know what I mean? That's someone who's never limited out before. That's coming from a total dumb place to talk about this from. But I can't see it being better than shooting just a regular average 120 class 8-point.
Okay, so here's my thing. Here's my counter argument to that, right? Mm-hmm. So I like adrenaline. I like the thrill that you get after shooting a buck, right? When it comes to hunting, nothing beats the adrenaline, the shakes that you get after putting an arrow through a big buck. But that happens once a year, or if you're hunting multiple states with
no times a year
tags,
if you're me.
Yeah, a couple times a year for you. You're shooting 180s and 190s.
No, zero times a year for me. Oh, wow. You misheard me.
I mean, we could start a GoFundMe and get you on a ranch or something.
Thank you.
I'll pitch in my last $20. But
I appreciate it.
The thing for me is like I get multiple adrenaline shots. They're not as big. Every time a flock of geese lands in my spread, every time a bunch of ducks are dumping in right over my head, like adrenaline with deer, bingo, one time, one shot this high,
right?
10 times a day of a lesser amount of adrenaline and I get to be there with my buddies, and I don't have to worry about scent control. And I will cook breakfast, and I'll puff on a vape. Like,
I see that, but it's almost like the turkey hunting thing too. Like
Oh no.
almost every turkey. No, I'm being 100% honest. I know you're a huge turkey hunter, and this is a conversation I told Christian I was going to have with you. So you have these micro moments, right? I've killed one turkey in my life. That's it. Killed it with a bow, 9.5-inch beard, and I was like, "This is cool. This is cool." It was like the same adrenaline as me shooting a doe, to be honest. Now, I didn't grow up with turkey. Didn't grow up really with ducks. It was mainly been whitetail my whole life. But it's just weird to see that, like, and I know it's going to depend on the person, but you have these little micro moments, the micro adrenaline rushes, and then you have the big burst of whitetail. So many of these is going to just get stagnant, right? Just stagnant. You limit out. I don't think it builds. I don't think it builds throughout the season. Like, oh, I limited out this many times. How many times you got to limit out to equal a 120 class buck?
He had to change glasses to dump on you.
Well, come on. I'm a toilet.
September 1st is opening day of early goose season, and I will get that same adrenaline rush in that single day as I do shooting a 120-inch buck.
No.
Yes. Last September 1st, me and my buddies, every goose that we shot had a band on it. And every single time that we picked a goose up and we were like, oh my God. Dude, I've got
That's
like
the thing,
20
though.
of these things. I would rather shoot a band than a 140-inch deer.
No,
that's the thing. That's the key word. That's the key word, though. You said band.
Okay.
What if it doesn't have a band? Is that the adrenaline rush of when you shoot one, it might have a band?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what it is?
So like you're deer hunting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're searching for the next big buck, right?
Yes.
I'm searching for the next band.
I can see that. But do you know exactly how many bands are like are like distributed each year? So therefore, how many is that?
I don't know the town that we hunted last September 1st, where we shot every goose that was banded, just happened to have like 200 banded a mile away from where we shot them. So that was kind of
what? No way.
But don't get me wrong, like one of the bands we shot was banded in 2006 in Buffalo County, Wisconsin.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about bands because in all honesty, I don't even duck hunt, and like I would like to shoot a band because that's just I know what it means. Like someone's put a band on that and it has history and all that good stuff. But I'm talking about ducks without bands. Now I know you said you're searching for that next band, but is that the only adrenaline throughout that whole hunt? Is just if it has a band or not?
No, I mean, sometimes you make a really cool shot, like 70 yards away, bang, adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, like I get a little spike of adrenaline when I hear a goose or if I see a duck flying at me. Like
I can see that.
Just a little tiny bit. It gets my hopes up, and it's like a slow climax, right?
Coming in, cupping up and stuff.
Yeah, it's slow and it's general. Like with deer, it's boom, done, 15 seconds of craziness and then a gradual decline. All year of waterfowl hunting, it's the same thing. Just boom, 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 boom. Just keeping the high. And it's sort of like a drug, man. Like I just can't get enough of it.
No.
It's cool too because with waterfowl, you get to share that high with probably 5 or 6 other dudes right then. As with a deer, you shoot it and you're sitting there alone, enjoying it for the most part. It's fun to be like, whoa, high five and like smack and shake another dude when you drop like 15. It's awesome.
And like bands are such like a hot topic for me because I know an awful lot of people that only do the hunt 1 mile away from a banding location and just they flex on Instagram with these bands that are 3 months old that they knew exactly where they were banded a mile away, and they're just like, oh, I'm the best in the world because I got a lanyard full of freaking 40 bands that I shot when they were 3 months old, barely could fly, a mile away from where they were banded. And
Okay.
if you look at people like the big waterfowler people, most of them do that to get their bands. And, like legitimately, like there's people like to protect their image and say they don't. They do. Like I know a few big people that's all they do to get their bands. Like they know people give them hot tips, they go there and shoot them. And I don't find any joy in that. But a bunch of my buddies last year had never shot a band, so we did it because people want to hunt with me, and like they'll pay me just so they can shoot bands.
Really?
Yeah, that's the premise of my whole guiding outfit, is just so they can shoot bands.
That's interesting. So you guys shoot a band every hunt?
Yeah, probably like 95% of the hunts. Yeah.
Wow. Good God. That's crazy. That's crazy. So you kind of convinced me on I can see where you're coming from. The duck versus whitetail debate. I see where you're coming from now. You've convinced me of that. But what about turkey? Right? Because that's still, I don't know, because you can't band a turkey, at least I don't think.
You can.
So you can.
So you can? How so?
Yeah.
Like actually just band it.
Oh, yeah, it's like a poult, or they capture them, yeah.
Huh.
Pennsylvania banded a bunch of turkeys this year, and everyone went and shot them up because they kind of like released the information on where exactly they were banded, and it's not like a turkey's going to go very far. So
that is true. Well, that just proves how much I know about turkey and stuff. But with that being said, I assume you don't chase that about turkey. You don't chase bands on turkey, do you?
No, I just think that's
so.
Dumb.
Do you think turkey hunting? So you said you'd rather duck hunt rather than deer hunt, turkey hunt, and all that stuff most of the year. What about turkey? Where does that lie? Does deer hunting or turkey hunting come before that?
Turkey
or after that? Turkey hunting. Okay, so why?
It's difficult to come up with words on how much I love playing chess with a bird.
Just because of their vocal, or
just because of the environment that I'm able to hunt them in, and them gobbling. Like if a deer gobbled, bro, it'd be a lot easier to kill deer.
That's true. That's true.
I'd love it so much more. Like if you could hear a buck grunt from 300 yards away, I'm in. Like, come on.
It's just the interaction you get with the turkey rather than the deer.
Yeah, it's the interaction. It's the fact that I can still turkey hunt with friends, and like knowing that I'm good enough to call a bird into me, to call something into me. That's why I like waterfowl hunting too, is because I'm calling stuff in.
That might be why I dislike it, is because I can't call to save my life. So that's probably a good reason.
I think the last 3 deer that I've shot, I've rattled in. So.
Oh, really?
I just like being able to talk to animals. That sounds weird. Sounds like some Dr. Dolittle stuff.
Yeah,
but like
it's fine.
I like being able to manipulate animals that they're going to come into me. And
you like fooling them.
Yeah, I like being able to just completely trick an animal. Like that's why I love archery hunting so much, because you got to be so much closer to an animal than with a rifle.
Well, I think there's something to that, because like you're almost beating them at their own game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And with turkeys, like the first animal that I ever shot or ever harvested, whatever you want to call it, that wasn't a squirrel, was a turkey. I was 5 years old. And it was just big old Tom, my dad, like pretty much shot the thing for me. All I did was pull the trigger. And ever since hearing that first gobble, like I've been so infatuated by hearing more gobbles. Like it if I could never do anything else for the rest of my life, I would turkey hunt.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the craziest turkey hunt you've had in your life?
Craziest turkey hunt I ever had in my life? New Mexico. It was New Mexico. We were up in this canyon. I can't remember exactly where it was. It wasn't very far from where we were living. We were up on this canyon, and we were we were basically like elk hunting turkeys, bro. Like we were like up and glassing them, trying to figure out where they were going and stuff. And my buddy was like, "Hey, there's been reports of a mountain lion in this area," and I was like, "Dude, like, I don't want to f with a mountain lion right now. What do you mean?" And they all leave me to like chase these turkeys that I spotted out for them. And I wasn't the one that shot the turkey. And I'm watching him. I'm watching the whole thing go down. And like, I'm like 400 yards away. I watched the turkey get shot by my buddies. Yes. And then I just hear like the loudest freaking blood curdling scream behind me. It was a freaking mountain lion. Yeah. And then, so like, I took the fast way back to the truck because of that. It was like 100 yards behind me. And we got back to the truck, and there's mountain lion prints in my boot tracks, like tracking us. And
you were tracking the turkey, the mountain lion was tracking you.
Yeah. And it's the scariest thing ever. And I didn't like it one bit, and I never went back. I'd already shot my 2 turkeys. I was just playing guide. So I just never went back up.
What's your craziest either guiding experience with turkeys or waterfowl, or your craziest client? I kind of want to hear the client. You have to have had some nut job.
Some a-hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a guy pull up. This was 2021. Yeah, 2021. It was my first year of like actually guiding for turkeys in Pennsylvania. And this guy booked a trip. He was from Mississippi or something like that. He just wanted to do his 50 states. Guy pulls up, looks like he had just robbed Cabela's of like all their gear and stuff. Like, I mean, straight up had tags and everything, like sticker on his gun type thing.
Dang.
And he pulls up, and I don't know if it was a joke.
He better gave you a tip.
Oh, he gave me a tip. He gave me a fantastic tip. He shot 2 turkeys that day. He pulls up, spotlight. He goes, let's go limb bump these things. I was like, where did you learn that terminology, bro? So like, we go walking up the hill, and he was like super. I tell everyone to like be kind of in shape if you're going to turkey hunt with me. He was not in shape. We were so behind on where we wanted to be, and we bumped a turkey out of the roost. I didn't know it was roosted there. I thought it was one lone turkey roosted halfway to where we were going. Bumps out of the roost. Dude straight snipes this thing flying out of the air. Just like one motion, sling, freaking bang, dumps. And I was like, and he looks at me, and he takes off his Cabela's jacket, right? Ripped up bottomland shirt, and a freaking spur necklace that went down damn near to his cojones.
What?
I mean, the dude straight like catfished me. And I was like, this might be the coolest thing I've ever seen. And so dumps that turkey. And he's like, and his accent suddenly becomes way deeper, like way more southern. He's like, let's go kill the other bird, boy. I was like, hell yeah, dude. So we went and killed another bird, and he tips me. I was charging like $300 per day, and he tipped me $600. He tipped me $600. He was like, thanks, man. And he goes on his way. And I don't even think I got his real name. I think he gave me a fake name. Like, the dude was just like mythical, a mythical being of turkeys, bro. Like, if I want to be someone in my life, like, I want to be him. That dude was a straight savage.
Dude, that's incredible.
A necklace of spurs. Heck yeah.
What a beast.
It was the most fun thing ever.
Shooting him. He shot one mid-flight.
Yeah, mid-flight. Like, shot it, and all you see is its head just boom, and then it like tumbled over and smacked a big oak tree.
This guy's been here before.
Yeah. I was like, he's definitely done that before. Like, he's definitely popped one off the limb, and it like the other one flew off, and he shot that other one too. Dude, straight baller. I hope that he hears this and messages me. I just want to like talk to him. I want to have a conversation with him.
You just want another $600 tip. That's what you want.
Was that on public land?
Yeah, Allegheny National Forest.
So you guide on public in Pennsylvania?
I think 50% of the time. It just depends on where I got birds.
I see. That's hype.
Him and Steve Shirk are kind of like the legends. Steve is a freaking dude. Spends like 320 days a year in the woods. Like, he's
Runs
insane.
like hundreds of trail cameras.
Yeah, legit. Like 150 plus trail cameras type thing.
Good
spread
God.
out. Like, he's finding deer in PA that people could only dream of on public land, and he guides for deer in the national forest.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, it's.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. We should have him on at some point. What a beast,
dude! I'll send him your information.
That's what I'm talking about.
One of my best friends is his cousin.
Speaking of information, where can people find you and connect with you if they want to continue to keep up with you?
Instagram, life.of.Corey. TikTok, it's probably not going to be around much longer because I get banned, but same thing, life.of.Corey. YouTube, I think it's the same thing. I don't post on YouTube. So if you find some cringy videos of like 14-year-old me on YouTube, have right at it.
So is that like your 10th TikTok?
It seems like it.
This is my 5th.
Oh, okay. You're doing good then.
Yeah.
You're, I think, one ahead of Chad Allen Jones. Do you know him?
Yeah, that's true.
No. Should
Chad
I?
Allen Jones.
Texas
well,
guy.
he's a Texas guy, and he killed like a freaking monarch. I don't know what it scored, like 230 something. And he gets banned all the time too, and it's all the time like Chad Allen Jones sent you a friend request. And it's like, oh, this is his 6th account.
I actually had this account removed, and I have a 6th. I just can't remember the password for it, but I got this account back. So I was like, yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, we appreciate you doing this podcast with us, and if we're ever in the same neck of the woods, we got to do it again sometime in person.
It'd be fun.
Dude, bring the alcohol. I'm down.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Cheers. Love you.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Hunter's Advantage podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to the podcast. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.